Welcome to the green room. For those of you who've caught a few tweets or a few messages in the chat, we think we'll start putting out before the show starts, just to see what have you seen in tech news lately, and that might be of interest to you. And Daniel, I watched something today which was released from The Verge,
Mm-hmm.
talking about rollable screens and devices, concept devices. Lenovo's been working on something. Um, I think they have potential, and it's kind of interesting to see versus the foldable screens.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really odd to see like a laptop that it's all about trying to give you that extra screen real estate so you can
Mm-hmm.
be more productive. But it extended for about 10 seconds, and then it looked like about a letter sized or A4 size sheet of paper
Mm-hmm.
that potentially could kind of wobble a bit as you were typing. Um, can you see other practical applications for rollable screens?
Um, I could, but what first though? What you're saying there gives me a little pause. It takes how long to extend?
10 seconds. Imagine that on your
Um,
lap. And you're like,
yeah. So I mean, yes, it is a um, concept, right?
mm-hmm,
So it's not a. This is what they're going to go and launch.
correct.
Um, Concepts of that. I think you could use that in vehicles and I mean there's lots of places where you could use that. I don't want a screen right now, but I'd like to have a screen
Mm,
that and it be more, you know, um, rolled away so I don't have to deal with it right now.
hmm.
Um, but 10 seconds, that takes a long time. And you're
Yeah,
right, it's kind of like a sail. If you wiggle a little bit, it's like wee. Um,
yeah,
but um, but I mean, we have to start somewhere, right? With coming up with these concepts. Not we. I don't do this. I am
the
not in
tech
the
industry,
screen.
Daniel.
Yes, in the tech industry, we have to start somewhere to creating the technology and then improving on it and
Mm,
right.
yeah, definitely. Um, it's about giving extra real estate for screens.
Mm-hmm.
I need a screen I can project through my glasses. That is definitely the other space
Mm-hmm.
that is being heavily explored. Uh, I've tried to use AR, sorry, VR goggles, and trying to sort of do the whole like desktop thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can only do it for a little while. I just, if the quality is not great, then I start to get seasick. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, where it's augmented, where it's a combination of your own environment plus, there's you kind of more oriented with what's going on. Um, yeah, there's lots of rumors around devices that are going to be released for that, but haven't been in production for some time.
Mm-hmm. I think yeah, we're going to see things happening in that area. Um, because real estate. I mean, right now I'm looking at my screens on my desktop. It's taking up a lot of room.
Mm,
And then even screens that are not being used right now, wouldn't it be great to just kind of roll it away and say, don't be here right now.
mm,
Think about cooking in the kitchen. A lot of people have screens in their kitchen. That I've seen. Recipes and stuff. But wouldn't it be nice to kind of roll that away so it's not there when you're not cooking?
yeah.
Stuff like that. That it would be nice to have. Pop it up, do it, and then make it go away.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's try this again. See what other people come up with in the green room, because we're all about tech and talking about change. But let's kick off the show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 365 Message Center show. I am Daniel, and that guy over there is...
Darrell. Good now, right now, wherever and whenever you are. I have to say that because it kind of covers all the corners of the universe. Yeah, welcome.
Whenever. So, like...
Yeah, whenever. Like,
Turn
it's time
back
zones.
time.
Sort of. I mean, if we're talking about like instance and like this very moment, you and I are real time, but you're still in a different time.
Hey, can we ask a favor of you? Go ahead and punch, smash, whatever action you want to do, that thumbs up button on this video. If you're watching on YouTube, give us a subscribe as well. And if you're listening on the audio, go ahead and give it a rating. Share. And sharing is caring, so share it out to everyone that you know, all right?
I always feel uncomfortable about asking for a like before we've delivered value, but I guess we have already. We've had a nice discussion in the green room.
Listen, this is
We're
the
nice
formula.
people.
This is the formula, Darrell. You ask them to do it beforehand because they'll forget later. We are forgetful, and so let's go ahead and do it now while you're thinking about it, while we're talking about it, and then... Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
We have a few messages. We've had a bit
it.
of fun too with the thumbnail this week because you know it's okay to have creative license as long as we don't get fined, sued, whatever. Was it called fair play, fair use? Fair use.
Fair use is what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Daniel, this is all yours. And I don't recall a message like this before.
Wow, yes, that's nice. New message recall in Exchange Online rolling out now, MC519224. This brings back, just the title, brings back memories where you would send an email and go, oh, that's not what I meant to say. And you'd say,
sure you've got a few stories about that.
Yes, I do. And you go, oh, wait, there's this recall function. You go in and say, I want that message back. And Outlook would go, okay, I'm on it. And then you have no idea if it worked or not. P.S. It didn't. For the most times, it didn't work when people try to do that. So this message is all about the improved version of Total Recall. You know, that's the cheeky thing we were doing with the title. This is recalling messages in Exchange Online. Okay. We'll be rolling out by mid-March. And this they promise, is way more effective than any sort of feature has been before in this area. It is twice as effective, they say. More than twice effective at successfully recalling messages than the previous version. So again, rolling out mid-February, ending by mid-March. You can, there's nothing you can, you need to do. It's going to be there. If you want to disable it, you can. There's a nice description at the bottom telling you about that in the message. There's caveat here is this is in your organization, right? So if you send an email that includes external parties, Gmail or Outlook.com or, those personal, it's not going to recall those messages. But it is going to go in to those mailboxes in your tenant and your organization and in Exchange Online and remove those messages, hopefully.
Can we call this feature the yoink feature?
Yoink?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
It says typically greater than 95% of messages.
Okay. Because Daniel, the problem with the previous feature was that it would send a different looking message that would say, this person's recalling a message. Do you want to allow them to recall it? And natural curiosity. Oh, why do they want to recall it? Okay, I'll go and read it. And then that's when the recall feature fails. Yeah. So it kind of takes a bit of trust. But for it to be effective 95% of the time, it's going to have to just yoink it and not ask your permission.
Right. And so, history with this. Yes, there's been some experiences in my history where I have sent emails and I tried this, where others have sent, and you get that message. You're like, oh, why did they want to? I want to see. Maybe this is get some of that details. But I think it is it's a situation where I don't use this often because there's no real guarantee, right? And as soon as I read your email and I forward it on to other people, that's not going to be yanked either. Like, they're not going to take that out of other people's mailboxes like that. So, this really is one of those, oops, think about, I misspelled something big, I put the wrong date on when I said, hey, we're having a party, blah, blah, blah. Or, you sent an email saying, hey, surprise birthday party for Darrell, and you included Darrell on the email. So yank that email, do the message recall to get that email back, and then remove Darrell and then resend. Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a bit like a edit message. We can do that because in a chat or in a group conversation, we can do that. It's all kind of real time.
Yeah.
But when it's dropping a copy of that message in your inbox, it's not a single instant storage or anything like that. You can't go in and
Right.
edit it.
Yeah. And but just remember, the caveats on there. It don't use it as I don't ever want anybody to see this. They may see it, so it's not foolproof, but it is better. This is if they're promising and they're saying greater than 95% of those messages in the organization. Okay, great. That's way better. And I don't want Darrell to know about the surprise birthday party I am throwing for him. Right? So we gotta get that message out.
Yeah. Well.
So what else I want to do? I want to pick favorites.
Do you?
Yeah, it is something that we all do. We pick favorites, favorite people we want to talk to, favorite restaurants, favorite colors,
browser favorites,
as well as documents.
I think in a browser favorites though, I've just got this massive list of folders and stuff from years ago that's duplicated it somehow as well, and it's just. Do you have organized favorites, Daniel, in your browser?
I don't organize them. I mean, I have favorites, but I don't really organize them.
It's a bit like people don't really save contact cards for people that depend on the email cache autocomplete thing. It's a bit like that in a browser, isn't it? Right. Well, what is this feature we're talking about? I probably should have done this and favorited messages because there's only a few, but while we're on the topic of favorites, OneDrive, favorite and unfavorite files, MC519907. It is what it sounds like. We have the ability to be able to favorite something, but the superpower of this is that when you favorite it in the various different locations where favoriting is available, OneDrive for example, then you'll be able to see those favorites in other places where favorites are stored. I feel like I'm talking about a podcast. Watch those favorites from whatever favorites are stored and listen to or watch.
I'm glad we don't have some sort of drinking game for the word favorite.
Favorites. Yeah, that would be someone's favorite game. Next. The idea is, of course, that if you are reviewing documents, content, that you might want to go back to them, you might want to find them easily across the different places where you work. I like the thought of being able to favorite something while I'm working on it, or maybe the signal within Word, Excel, PowerPoint to pin something as like a favorite, and then I could go over to OneDrive and favorite it there. We're not talking about that as a feature, but we're talking about the reverse. That I might be in OneDrive and I can see content that has been shared with me. Maybe I go to my shared view. We actually have some screenshots here of what this looks like. I don't think they're very clear though. Ugh. Ugh. I'm
not.
sorry. That is horrible. Just squint your eyes and just imagine that roughly where I'm clicking here, hovering over a document in my OneDrive, my files, beside the, what is that, share button? It is the share button, is a star. And you can favorite it, or you can use the favorites in the full right context menu. It'll be there. Where does it appear? Let's go to the other eye chart. And oh, it's a little bit better, but not really. We've got a favorites folder, and there we can see the things that we have favorited.
It's not a folder. It's
view.
A view. Yeah.
View. Okay, yes, but it's a folder. I mean, the icon's a folder. Why don't they make the icon a star?
I don't know. It should be a star. Everybody knows a star means favorite. It's even in Edge, it's a star. So I don't understand why they didn't do that.
But you look, Daniel, it's not just Office documents. They've favorited a recording, I guess, or a video. You've got filters there, which...
We've talked about filters in OneDrive.
Nice to see. Yeah, please make them consistent too.
But we want to be able to edit those. And
Yeah. But I think if we see this appearing in the other places that we work, ideal, brilliant.
Ideal?
Yeah. Oh, you mean not just ideal? It should be the standard.
I'm saying I see things missing here.
What do you see missing?
Folders.
Oh, you want to favorite a folder?
I want to favorite a folder. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
In fact,
fair call.
I mean, think about in Windows, you can add a link or a folder to your quick access in Explorer, right? Which I do, and because it's OneDrive, it's actually a folder in OneDrive that I have favorited because I go to that folder a lot. And it's not just one document, it's multiple. So, yeah, I want to be able to favorite folders here. I also want to see my favorites at the top of my list. I don't want to have to click on favorites. I just want to see it at the top there of my normal files view.
Yeah.
And Andy had mentioned in the chat, wanting to be able to pin a folder at the top like in SharePoint. That's exactly right? Be able to just say, hey, pin it up there so I can get to it a little bit easier. I agree with you that I like this, and hopefully it'll be in all the experiences, and that'll be great. But I think folders is a big thing here that I would like to see.
Fair call. It's a start. Start. So
Yes.
When is this coming? This initial release of favorites to OneDrive is coming out mid-March, expect to be completed early April for standard release. If you're in targeted release, early March, expect to be completed mid-March. And there's your marching orders. Daniel, tell us.
Yes.
Is there something else you might want to do with favoriting and doing something with documents?
That transition, that hurt. That was brutal. Oh.
Brutal.
Okay. This one. Send to Kindle feature shipping. MC519245.
I see what you said. The shipping, Kindle, Amazon.
Shipping. Yes.
Got it. Very nice.
So this is going to be a feature in Microsoft Word. So on desktop Mac as well as web, be able to export a file. Right, we can export to PDF. We're going to be able to export, send to Kindle, and that document then will be sent to Kindle. You're going to have to, log in with your Amazon account to make that happen, right? Because the way the Kindle service works. So I have my Kindle here. Yes, it does have our sticker on it. So if you want to do that, people, I have stickers. Just come see me wherever, you happen to come up and say, Daniel, I want a sticker, and I'll give you a sticker. But if you want to get that, fine. Great. That's fantastic. Rolling out mid-March, completed by mid-April. Wonderful. If you want to configure, now you can say you can configure a policy on, whether you want to allow this, but that policy, and there's information at the bottom of this, takes you to configuring that on the config.office.com. But as I understand it, that's for the desktop apps. So I'm not sure how that's going to work with web. If Word on Web would follow or honor that if you wanted to remove this feature. Because I'm thinking about, I have a document and now I send it to Kindle. I've lost all control as an organization of that document. And, I can't control Kindles. I can't, lock those off. So I have to use this policy. Does it apply to web? I hope so, but I don't know that it does. So Darrell was just showing on screen, but there's a link at the bottom of that message saying send to Kindle, and it gives you the exact steps to utilize. So I kind of have some questions here, Darrell, about honoring, if a document is marked with a label, saying, hey, we're not sharing this. Does this work? I would hope it wouldn't. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah, I see what you mean. It's supposed to prevent you from using the feature. So this is even before it gets pushed to Kindle. You'd want that kind of control. So a label, security, sensitivity label should listen to that. Actually, no, you're not sharing this.
Right.
No.
Right.
Hold.
Which I think because it's in the export kind of functionality that it would. I grimace because I don't know, so I don't want to promise this feature. People, we definitely need to test this, but I guess the question here is, even if you put a policy on this, does it affect web as well? I'm not sure about that. But let's kind of roll on back here to, are there a bunch of documents that you're viewing in Word that you want on your Kindle? Is this a thing?
Yeah, sure it is.
Is it?
You want to review a document, and your printer and paper conscious, right? Sustainability and all, so you'll send it to your Kindle and review it there.
Okay, but I'm not even talking about that. Why review it on a Kindle when you can just review it on your computer? Oh, you're on the go. Well, that's what your phone is for, or that's what your tablet's for.
What?
Your iPad's
Have you tried to read like a long contract or statement of work?
I have.
From your
in a
phone?
pinch, it has to.
Literally in a pinch. You'll be pinching to see. Yeah.
Yes, you will. Ha I don't know. I don't know that this is the thing. I really don't.
I think it is. But I think we do need to make sure that if you're trying to keep your information secure, that those policies work across the board, so that it prevents you from sending.
Well, and but see, I can see this for personal, way more than business. So if this was in Word for Word Online personal, like if you have a Microsoft 365 personal or a family plan, accessing this, 100% I could see that for Kindle, doing this. But for business, I'm not so sure. But maybe there is. Maybe I'm just not educated enough, to understand the implications here and how best it could be used. Don't know.
Well, why does it say in 30 days, send to Kindle will show up? Like, wouldn't it be better to put a date there in the message?
This is, so mid-March, mid-April is the rollout, but I think this is because it's the desktop? I don't know why it did that, to be honest, in 30 days. Maybe because it was mid-February when they put the post out?
Yeah.
That's odd.
Hey, I know we've got through 3 messages. I just had a thought, Daniel. You know how I love to just throw in random things that we haven't rehearsed. Because everyone, for this show, Daniel and I, we practice our lines. We script everything that we say. Everything.
Yes,
Even the
that is
bad
correct,
jokes. Yeah.
Darrell. You are... You're awesome. How
Excuse me,
did you put
you
that
cut
in there?
in too early on that line, and I
Sorry.
don't like how you're ad-libbing this.
Uh,
I wanted I wanted to just ask people, like, if we're glancing through messages and we're considering what we'd like to cover for the show, we generally try and circle around things that are going to affect people's experience. We don't focus as much on administrative things or, hey, look, here's a new sidebar on the Teams admin center. I mean, that's nice. But yeah, we try and focus on that. And we know, like, feature releases are kind of up and down. Sometimes there's a whole lot in one week, and then there's not much for the next bit. We're also starting to see in our tenants Viva announcements as well, because both Daniel and I have been given Viva plans that we can use just to get familiar with it and help the community understand. So things like this: Viva goals, increased functionality, and terminology change for a team field. Are you interested in that? Let us know. Are you interested in, hey, look, the Yammer external networks are now require verified admin privileges? Are you interested in hearing about that and our kind of opinions in that space? We come across some of these things. Certainly, there's some areas too where I've got to speak for myself. I'm certainly not across the purview, data loss protection, archiving and retention, security stuff. Daniel, would you feel confident enough to take on a message about that?
I feel confident to take on a message about anything
Sorry,
because
good answer. Good answer.
we have
Right there in
an
consultant mode.
incredible community that's there to support us. I
Yeah.
think either that or it depends. That's my answer.
I think Andy's onto something here. There should be a new Viva product called Viva Announcements.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
Which
now that
might
you
do us
mention
out of a
that,
job.
maybe. That'd be amazing.
But yeah, that's a kind of a look behind the curtain in terms of like what we do. Like, we'll meet and we'll talk about some of these messages, discuss what we think would be impactful, talk about what changes we think people might have to deal with and how to prepare the org. Yeah, so
And it's about change agents, admins, and users, right?
Yep.
So we don't want to be admin only, right? We don't want to be talking about, well, go in there and here's the settings and here's where you click and blah blah blah. This is this is about how it affects you. So that's kind of the things we talk about, when we're looking at messages.
Yep. Now here's one. Changes to the minimum supported browsers. I mean, that's important if an organization's using a standard operating desktop. Ooh, SOE. Yeah. And you haven't updated that build for some time. Maybe you're still using Internet Explorer. Shame on you.
Yeah, but in that case, you would have, immediately the OS prompts you to update.
Yeah.
So hopefully you're doing that, but again, hopefully cross your fingers. Hope is not a strategy. So when we talk about this kind of, or not these kind of topics, we do consider that. And of course, would love to hear your input. So make sure you give us a comment below on this video, or send us a message on socials. We are at 365MCS everywhere on Twitter, Insta, Facebook, LinkedIn. Love to hear your thoughts on that, how we can balance that, because there's a lot of things we could talk about and go through, but this would turn into a 2-hour show every week about every product line and every role from admin all the way down to business user, and everything in between. So would love to hear your inputs there too.
Look, I really value being able to talk with Daniel and get his opinions and thoughts on what we've seen during the week. And I think that's one of definitely the benefits of community is having events like this, places in live chat, talking to people who have that similar interest in looking at what's changing and preparing people for that change. And I look back and I think it's awesome, really, that we now have a community that will grab a message like this in the middle of the week. They'll take a screenshot from their phone and there'll be Twitter conversations about this. So we're all playing our part to make people aware of the changes and passing our opinions on that change, which often gets us thinking about, hadn't considered that. Yeah, I might have to think about that in my own environment or how that might land with my
Yeah,
people. So keep
absolutely.
doing that. That's so valuable.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we have enjoyed those in the chat room. We enjoy looking at the numbers when seeing people that have watched the recordings and caught the audio podcast as well, where you can find that at wherever you find your podcasts. Thank you so much. I agree from the bottom of my heart, and you've heard it from Darrell. Thank you for not just being part of this show, but also being part of the community and having those conversations throughout the week, helping each other as we get through this. I mean, that's kind of the thing. This is just the way it is moving forward. We have these things are changing so much. We've got to help each other. So thank you so much for being a part of that.
Yeah. Fist bump.
Nice.
All right. Well, that's it for the week. Thank you for tuning in for that quick bit. We'll see what lands next week. And let's talk about that throughout the week.
Yes.
I'm looking at you, Phil, Andy, various other people that post. Get those conversations going again. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye.